Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to chat with you a little bit about why anxious preoccupied attachment style individuals often become a little bit enslaved to their strong feelings, like overwhelmed by them, overcome by them, all these sorts of things, and what we can do about it. So this is sort of part of a series. In the past, I've talked about, basically it comes down to two core things. Either needs that are unmet, and so all of this emotion, part of how we're wired or designed essentially is that if we have unmet needs, we're supposed to have this feeling-based impulse that says, ouch, this doesn't feel good, it causes pain, and that's actually helping us from an evolutionary perspective to go out and get those needs met. So we have emotional output when we have unmet needs. If we have consistent unmet needs, or unmet needs happening often, or needs that we're completely ignoring or repressing in our lives as a whole, or even needs that we're just disempowered to meet within ourselves, then you're going to have a constant sort of background emotional impulse around it. And those negative feelings are feedback. They're there to guide you towards fixing this and changing your relationship to your emotions and all these sorts of things. So we have our needs, and that's what we're going to focus on in this video. And then we have our stories that we tell ourselves based on past wounds, old stored experiences in the subconscious, and these things come up, and we're so identified with them. We're like one with them. And so these passing stories that might be untrue, these worst case scenarios that the mind projects are often not true, but we're living in this like movie in our mind as if they are absolute truths. So we might find that somebody's cold to us, maybe because they had a long day, and we might go, they stopped caring about me, we're not loved anymore, these sorts of things. And the mind projects based on its old wounds. So in the past videos, in the part of this series around anxious attachment individuals, we talked about how to separate thought from awareness, the practice of separating from those stories, disidentifying from them, and being able to observe them and notice, and then really try to poke holes in them and question their validity so we can come up with answers where we go, okay, I'm not overcome by the story. I see why I would feel a certain way, but the story is not necessarily true. And then we can do something with it. Now, our needs are sort of like a parallel of what can be happening at the same time that's also causing pain. So in this case, unmet needs will cause emotional pain. And part of what happens with the anxious preoccupied attachment style and their upbringing and their conditioning and their experiences that they've had is they learn to soothe through others, and they do not learn to soothe through themselves. And so all of their positive associations to solving a problem, to soothing in general, are through connection to other people, which means if your subconscious mind doesn't believe that it can soothe on its own, and then all of a sudden you're going through a tough emotional time and nobody's available because maybe everybody's working, or, just nobody's picking up their phone when you need a friend, or whatever it might be, it's going to spiral you into a state of panic, because the messaging the subconscious mind is going to receive from that is like, you don't have anybody to soothe from. Nobody's here to meet your needs. Your needs are going to go unmet, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's going to create this helplessness and this anxiety and these fears. So I want to target that in this part of the video by talking about how we can actually work to reprogram our relationship to our own needs, and why we've sort of dislocated from, having the built-in beliefs and efficacy to meet our needs ourselves if you are the anxious attachment style individual. And so I'll give you some strategies and tools that'll be really useful, and I'll give you some history on like how to use them a little bit. Before I dive into that specifically, I just want you guys to know we are supporting our community as much as possible right now. Until this whole COVID thing starts coming to an end, we are going to be offering 25% off of all of our courses. Whatever you see in the videos, the course information and the workbooks and the community and everything that's inside the school is just honestly 10 times more in depth and better. And you have strategic tools and steps and everything laid out for you. And we have 3 live webinars weekly to ask live questions. And I literally answer people's questions who come into the community that way. So I wish I could provide all that value on YouTube, but it's just not time efficient. It's not quite possible. Even just uploading that long of videos would take forever. So anyways, if you want help, you want support, please join. We have With You is the coupon code for the 25% off for 3-month bundles, 3-month, 6-month, 12-month bundles, and individual course purchases as well. And we also are offering scholarships to people. If you're in financial need, you're struggling, anything like that, reach out to my team at info@personaldevelopmentschool.com. and we're going to support you there as well. So, and also let me know in the comments. I don't get to read every single comment, but I read as many comments as possible, and constantly and building content based on what you guys ask for. So this is part of why I'm doing this series right now. So anyways, what can we do? So we're back on this theme now of like, you have these unmet needs. Your subconscious mind is like, we have to meet our needs through others because that's the way you've been conditioned that works. And those were your adaptations according to your childhood and maybe early adult life experiences. And so now you're in this position where people are unavailable or something's going wrong. How do we solve that problem? Well, first, you should know that the goal is to become extremely effective at both. The goal of relationships is not codependency, and it's not apathy, distance, two passing ships in the night. It's not that either. What it is healthy interdependence. And what that really means at its root level is that you can meet your needs 50% of the time or any time that somebody's not available to meet them, and you feel empowered and safe to do so that you have a built-in relationship to yourself of self-efficacy and reliance. And you also are masterful at identifying your needs and communicating them as close to, if not in real time, as possible. And you feel empowered to do that and do so in a vulnerable way with clarity and specificity, so that somebody can show up and meet those needs for you. And this is healthy interdependence. It's the balance of both. I can meet my own needs and I can share my needs with others. And if at some point in time I'm feeling like I need more connection in my life and I want to meet my own needs less and reach out to others, beautiful. And if at some point in time people aren't available or I'm just needing some alone time, I can meet my own, and I'm empowered fully on both sides. And this is the goal. And when you can do this, and when you can work on your stories, these are two of the top 5 things that really heal attachment styles in general into secure. And I was sort of putting this message in the past video. Anybody who tells you like you can't heal your attachment style, they're just incorrect, quite honestly, because you weren't born with your attachment style. You developed your attachment style because of imprints to your subconscious. And as long as you're targeting changing your attachment style at the subconscious level through specific reprogramming tools and firing and wiring new patterns and having your hands on the right things that are creating a shift there, we have neuroplasticity, we have neurogenesis, and we have subconscious reprogramming. And we can change the software and essentially hardware to a certain degree in our brain. And so all of these patterns are changeable over time. And this is why, for example, you see secure individuals partner with somebody with an insecure attachment style, and suddenly over time this other person becomes more secure and the relationship works. It's because they're being shown patterns repetitively over time and they're adapting to these things. So you can speed up that whole process as well, and you can do it so that you don't have to necessarily be with somebody completely secure if you're already in a relationship and you want to turn things around. So it requires work, I will say that, and consistency, and both parties need to be on board. But maybe I'll do a separate video on how to heal a relationship with 2 insecure attachment styles. So let me go back to this for a moment. So what can you do? Well, one of the most important things, first and foremost, is in order to be able to get your needs met from yourself and feel empowered in that area so that you don't have to spiral and feel like you can't self-soothe, you have to get into relationship with what your needs are. So what I recommend doing is trying to understand what your needs are on a regular basis. We do have a free needs list on the Personal Development School, personaldevelopmentschool.com. And it's under free literature, and it's like a free needs list. It's your moment-to-moment needs, your daily sort of needs. And what you can do in there is you can circle your top 15 needs and then start coming up with strategies. This is how you meet needs, by the way, whether it's in a relationship with somebody else or whether it's in relationship to yourself. We can't just be like, I need to be heard. I need to be connected to. I need to be understood. We can't just be like, these are my needs. That doesn't really do much for us. That's very surface. What we need to be able to do is go, these are my needs. These are my strategies to get these needs met. So for example, I will express myself in this way. I will set boundaries. I will take the time to explain, hey, this is what went on from my perspective. I will master conflict communication, these sorts of things. We need strategies. And then when we're communicating them either to ourselves and getting clear or to others, we need to be very specific about what that looks like. I can't tell you how many times I've seen in like couples work where one party expresses the need, the other party thinks they're meeting that person's need, but they're not, because this person didn't express the way that that need needs to be met. So for example, this person might be like, I want more closeness in our relationship or more connection. And this person might be like, okay, so they like cook dinner and they do all these things. And this person might, for them, closeness might not be like somebody doing acts of service. It might be deeper conversations. So we can so easily miss the mark there. And it's a huge problem in relationships. So you want to know your top 10 or 15 needs that show up on a regular basis. You want strategies to support them, and you want clear and specific descriptions of what that looks like for you. And when you can do this in your relationship to yourself, and you can do this repetitively and lace it with emotion so that it reprograms these subconscious paradigms of the belief that I can't self-soothe and I'm not able to. Once you can start doing this repetitively, what happens is your brain starts to feel empowered to trust itself, to meet its needs, which then means self-soothing becomes that much more simplified. And when you have to imagine, like if you've been out of a relationship with somebody, and let's say you broke up and you haven't seen them in a year or 5 years or however many years, and then they come back, you're not going to be able to soothe through them right away. You're going to need to build trust over time. You're going to need to connect to them over time, understand them again, get clear on what sort of is happening inside of their mind. And over time, you build trust that way and feel like, oh, okay, I can go to them with things and I can open up and I can soothe with them and all these different things. That same principle applies to the relationship to yourself. If you've been ignoring yourself, ignoring your needs, only soothing through others, looking outside and making decisions outside in instead of inside out, putting your needs and the meeting of your needs is happening from outside in instead of inside out, you're out of trust in relationship to yourself. So you need to consistently empower yourself over time until you feel through repetition like, oh, I can do this. It's okay to soothe this way. And then a lot of anxious individuals will be like, am I becoming more avoidant? No, you're breaking codependency with others. And that's a beautiful thing. That is ultimately what allows relationships to very much thrive and last and work and all these really empowering things. So I hope this is helpful for now. This is like an initial exercise you can use. And there's honestly so much more I could say and so many more steps and stuff. So let me know if you have further questions and I can keep adding to this series. And yeah, thanks for being here. And if you're getting a lot of value out of this channel, please like it, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.